So this is the only process recommended. So this is, no, I'm talking to the camera. So this is Yamarāja. This is Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 6, Canto 6, 3rd chapter, 24th verse. Therefore, should be understood that one is easily relieved from all sinful reactions by chanting the holy names of the Lord and chanting of His qualities and activities. This is the only process recommended for relief from sinful reactions. See? So, a lot of people, they say that you got to do the rules or regulations to be relieved of sins, following the rules. Well, that's not really that strong. See? This is stronger. And so that's the path we follow here, is help devotees become attracted to hearing, chanting, remembering, where it comes from your heart. See? That was the whole point with Jesus. When his first disciple, he asked, well, why do you want to follow me? He says, I want to feel the scriptures in my heart. See, that's attraction, it's affection for Bhagavatam. See, that's the best of all paths to relieve sinful reactions. And if you can just be around devotees who are hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord with affection and devotion and attachment, that's all you need to do. See, you're better positioned than those who are following all kinds of rules and regulations but won't go to such attracted devotees. See? Because just from one attracted devotee who chants the glories of the Lord with affection, it transfers to you very easily. Otherwise, those persons are following the rules, regulations, and everything to raise themselves up to self-realization. See, and that could take lifetimes. See, but if you can sit before and hear from a devotee who chants the holy names and pastimes in the ecstatic love, you found this path here. It's the best of all process to relieve you of sinful reactions. That's why it's meant that Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, 1st canto, 2nd chapter, 18th verse, says, by regular classes in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam and by service to the pure devotee, all that's troublesome to the heart is removed. What is that? Sinful reactions, man. Just by hearing from a devotee. They're removed, and then you become attracted also. Then irrevocable love for Krishna awakens in the heart as an irrevocable fact. See? So this is the best of all paths, what we're teaching here. See? And if a person is saying, well, I want to follow the rules, that's the path. Well, that's a long route. Even this says, this is the best path, if you can find it. And that's why within the rules they integrate hearing and chanting about Krishna and everything. But if their hearing and chanting lacks affection and transcendental nature of this ecstasy and tears and the choking and all these natural symptoms of transcendental love, then the effect is diminished also. Down to this just kind of like doing it more or less in name only. See, we're chanting the Lord's glories in name and in feeling. See, that's the holy name, is the whole name. The name is not just Hare Kṛṣṇa without bhakti, but it's Hare with the devotion and then Krishna, and you can relish the whole thing. You have to have the whole ball of wax. Ajāmila, for example, was extremely sinful, but while dying he merely chanted the holy name, and although calling for his son, he achieved complete liberation because he remembered the name of Nārāyaṇa. Okay? Because, so he attained liberation just from namabhas. Can you imagine the destination of devotees who chant the name, not just calling for some in distress for their son, but calling the name with deep love and affection. What is the result of that? It's beyond salvation and liberation. See, that's why you're drawn to the planet of the Lord, Goloka Vrindavan. So, because they are bewildered by the illusory energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Yājñavalkya and Jaimini and other compilers of the religious scriptures cannot know the secret. See? So you've got to be a special you have to have the special mercy that comes within a parampara. See, literally, you have to be that special mercy, which is this affection and this love, because that's the only thing that takes away the bewilderment. Nobody else can have it take it away. Yeah? See, so many people are bewildered. Demigods are bewildered. Vaidhi Bhaktas are bewildered here. Gurus are bewildered. They don't understand this. If they did, they wouldn't be against preaching like we do. We're preaching so into the book. I mean, Prabhupada knew this. He knew people didn't understand his books. His godbrothers didn't understand that because they were bewildered by these subtle last snares of Maya, which is the false ego of name and fame and envy and jealousy. This is the last thing has to be cleared. That's what we're working on here. If anybody that has any of that and really wants Krishna, if they come here, that'll be removed from you very easily, this thing. Just like Daksha, when he finally submitted to Lord Shiva, that was taken away, that illusory blindness of being against pure devotion and pure devotees. See, who have this ecstatic way of worship, just like Devananda Pandit. He had this block. He was a good Brahmin, perfect Brahmin, followed the rules, preached Bhagavatam, everything. But he had one problem, is he didn't know what is ecstatic love because he still had the false ego of a Brahmin. There was a devotee, came into his Sangha and he threw him out. See, that was Srivas. He was in ecstasy and he threw him out. Okay? So, but later on, after he got chastised by Lord Chaitanya, he took shelter of a devotee. See, then it was all forgiven. Lord Chaitanya called him. He said, now because you served my devotee, see, now you're not opposed to devotional service and pure devotional service, because Vakhrashvara, who he served, was in ecstasy all the time, and he was not unfavorable to it. He served him very affectionately like this. That's the door. See, he was relieved of his sinful reactions and then into a relationship with Lord Chaitanya. See? And in other words, relationship with Lord Chaitanya means you have affection for his pastimes. It brings tears to your eyes. You love him by loving his name, his pastimes, his qualities. That's how we have him here, is through these authorized books written by devotees who also loved him. You see, it's all about love, man. These books are written by loving, ecstatic devotees, and they're preached by loving, ecstatic devotees rightly. Otherwise, you're speculating. If I don't have any love like it's in a book, I'm going to speculate. I'm not going to tell you what this book is telling you exactly. It'll be a little mixed with other things. They cannot understand the transcendental value of performing devotional service, or or chanting the Hare Kṛṣṇa mantra. Okay? So a lot of persons are believing in the value of that, but not believing in it. Okay? So they're believing it in name only. They just do it and act it because of duty and all that. See, but they don't believe the value, because the proof that you believe the value, you'll show up with those rare devotees and you will learn real devotional service from them. You'll enter into this narrow gate and then quickly get the feeling for what you're doing. get the revelation for what you're doing, the realizations what you're doing. Otherwise, it's just ritual. You're just doing like ritual. They cannot understand the transcendental value of performing devotional service or chanting Hare Kṛṣṇa mantra because their minds are attracted to ritualistic ceremonies mentioned in the Vedas. See, a lot of people doing ritualistic stuff, they go and follow the program, right? Prabhupada taught the program and all that. But they can't understand the value of just taking shelter of chanting the holy name of the Lord, His qualities and pastimes. See, because if you do that, you see the rituals just drop off. They're not necessary anymore. They're just a step. See, like the Brahmins, they were attached to their rituals. In 10th canto, they were attached to their rituals. And then the cowherd boys came to relieve them. See, they were ecstatic cowherd boys, and they said, come on, do a little service for Krishna. And they said, no, we're just interested in our rituals. See? Attached to that. The wives went over to hear and chant and talk about Krishna with the authorized representatives, the cowherd boys, the intimate devotees. What happened? They've quickly got love of God and were sent back by Krishna, and their husbands were impressed and were converted that way. See, they were the witnesses that those cowherd boys weren't just crazy. See? Same thing here. Those who are coming and listening and getting this affection and attraction to Krishna so fast, so quick, they're the witnesses. You see, they keep every day witnessing. Yeah, just come and listen to lectures like me and you get this. Believe in this preaching with your heart. Come to the point, you listen enough where you have faith that this guy knows what he's talking about because Krishna is using this person. Just like he used him in Prabhupada. If you think, well, that was different with Prabhupada. Well, hey man, Krishna used him, and if you're before a bona fide guru, Krishna should be using them, otherwise they're not bona fide. They should be, the Krishna that came through Prabhupada should come through the next guru, otherwise you stay with Prabhupada only. That's what Prabhupada is teaching. Only worship pure devotees like that. Don't go sell out, worship anything else. Especially who he said not to. See? Better, that's the ideal. Well, a lot of people did other things. See? But here, you gotta, if you want to go deeper, this is the way it is. You have to wait. If you're fine with just the rules, the regulations, and varnashram dharma, and temple worship, and a lot of external regulations, all that, you stay with Prabhupada, and then die on that level of Vaidhi Bhakti. If anybody out there wants to move on, you have to come here and listen to this teaching. Otherwise, how can you do it? Nobody has been able to do it. It's like, that King Arthur story. There was only the real king is the one who could pull the sword out of the stone. See? And all these other kings, of the lands came and they couldn't do it. They looked good and all that, but they couldn't pull the stone. But this simple guy, King Arthur, was able, this little boy, he was the one that had the potency, the empowerment, he just pulled it right out. Same thing with Bhagavatam. Hey man, you got to prove that you know Prabhupada's books because you present them in such a way that it impresses people that are real disciples of Prabhupada, the real connection. Whether you're a grand disciple or what, those who really want the Lord in truth and not are interested in name and fame and all this other bullshit. See? And then you hear from a devotee who pulls the sword out of Bhagavatam and just slices away at the Maya. That's Krishna who does that through the bona fide Acharya and Guru. Otherwise, just stick with Prabhupada. But who could follow? Not so many people follow that. Well, maybe it's a fair amount do, actually. But you got to get over that hurdle of this jealousy, envy, and competition. See, and that was the problem with the God Brothers, is to see that that same Krishna was working through Bhaktisiddhanta, was also working through him. And for a long time, a lot of them couldn't do that, man. They said, no, Bhaktisiddhanta is the special devotee to Krishna, but you're just a God brother like us, or you're a rotten grihasta rotting away in household life. They couldn't see the same Krishna was working through him. And even when he started preaching, still that envy and jealousy is strong in a lot of persons. It's like my God brothers. Here we're preaching and waking up devotion, ecstatic devotion, in a fair amount of devotees already that are coming. See? Can you imagine if we had 100 people seriously listening to our things? We'd have at least so many of them that would have this kind of bhakti. So these other gurus, as far as I can see, is they have hundreds of disciples. Where is this pure ecstatic love? If it was awakening, they'd be jumping for joy, going and giving testimonies like my disciples are. Jumping up and saying, yeah, man, I got this special thing. But we don't hear that. See, it's still not there. So thus they are busy collecting the ingredients for ritualistic ceremonies that yield only temporary results. Yeah. Isn't that amazing? Everybody doing big pandals, they're putting a lot of energy because it's their devotional service is mixed with fruit of desire. They want to work, like heavy work and build pandals and all that stuff. Well, that's fine for the beginners. Build huge temples and all that work and money you got to collect for all of that. Okay? But a person who hears and chants the holy name in ecstasy, all I do is I just turn on the camera, man, and we just erected a temple around the world, man. There's Sachi and Kamalakanta. Is it Kamalakanta or something? Forgot your name, sorry. Kamalakanta, I think. Over there in Tucson, we've got people in Europe. We can circle the globe. See, because we're doing even what Jesus taught about this next phase of the worship by the Spirit. Worship in the spirit of devotion and truth. See, truth here is right here in these books, man. That's Krishna, that's Bhagavan. And the Spirit, that's Radharani, man. That's devotion. And when you put those two together, you have a real rasa dance, man. See? You got the devotion and you got the book. It creates a lot of ras, man. A lot of interesting talks and chanting and revelations and realizations. See? All to do with the spiritual potency. See? That's our worship here. I don't have to build some huge temple. We build a huge temple, just turn the camera on. Yeah, we're circling the globe. The more people who get wind of this amazing way of worship here for the Vaishnavas, we'll be circling the globe. Okay. So because their minds are attracted to ritualistic ceremonies mentioned in the Vedas, especially the Yajur Veda, Sāma Veda, and Rega Veda, their intelligence has become dull. You notice that? Even the prophets in the Bible said their intelligence is dull. See? Jesus said, you guys hear, but you don't hear. See, you hear the word, but don't hear the word. It doesn't go in. Your intelligence is dull. It's less intelligent. Why? You want to get intelligent? You have to patiently listen to an intelligent devotee whose intelligence is based on bhakti. They're a real bhakti Vedanta because their Vedanta, their understanding of Krishna comes from ecstatic worship. Loving ecstatic worship. They're the only intelligent persons in this world. And you want to become intelligent, that dullness has to be sharpened by hearing from such a devotee. You don't hear, you don't become intelligent. You stay amongst the less intelligent class, like Daksha even. oh, big demigod and everything is considered less intelligent. Only because he wouldn't hear from Shiva, the real devotee, empowered with real bhakti. Same thing here. The devotees will remain less intelligent until they begin to hear from a real empowered devotee, powered by real bhakti. They're powered by pure, unalloyed love. Their intelligence is from that. See? If you hear there, your dullness will go away. You'll become intelligent also, otherwise not. If you don't listen, you'll attract fools. Fools and blind people that are blind like you, and they're all impressed with your austerities and your renunciation. See? They're impressed with that, except everything that's really impressible in the Bhagavatam. See? That is not impressible to Krishna or the Lord. The Lord is impressed with real devotion and real bhakti, man. Symptomized by tears in the eyes. The Brahma said, when you ready for the kingdom of God, tears will appear in your eyes, choking the voice. Symptoms of ecstasy will appear in your body, man. Then you're promoted there, even though you're not interested in all these austerities and everything. People are here in the press. Oh, he's austere, he's clean, he's in the group, man. He was initiated by Prabhupada and all that. Yeah, but you have the ecstatic ornaments, man. You have to be ornamented with the bhakti symptoms to enter Vrindavan, to go to the kingdom of God. Do you have any of that? Well, we don't see any of that anywhere. Or wherever you do see it, that person's going, and they'll probably take a few more with him. Kamalakanta, yeah, that's right. Thank you.